Happy Women's Day, friends! To celebrate Women's Day, let us paint a bouquet of flowers. So let's get going. So, this is where we will paint. This is a watercolor paper, and I'm going to use these Camel Artist colors. I've already laid them out on my palette. These are the brushes I'm going to be using, and I might use some extra brushes at hand. That is, I use them whenever I don't want to wash the brush and I want to change color. So I'm going to have a floral piece here. So let's start by placing the center of the flower over here. I'm just making some dots. I'm just using the side of the brush to create some petals. This flower is kind of facing sideways downwards. So the top petal is going to be looking like, half seen. All the petals on the lower side are looking kind of long. Now let us place another flower just next to it. Now this flower, I'm just planning to face it upwards. I'm starting with 2 petals and these dotted points to show the center. We'll be working on it later on. So these are the upper petals. And just darkening few points. Just dropping in a little bit color here and there. Let's paint another flower. It's going to be kind of arranged. We'll see how it turns out. Now this one, I am making it in a crimson color. That's my crimson on the palette. This flower is more like facing us. We are just looking at a flower straight from top. Now I'm just dropping in a little bit of color while the petals are still wet. See how the color spread? I'm just running a wet brush. Let's see how it looks if I drop in a little bit of purple on it. Nice. Now we're preparing for another flower. Let me just place a flower here, again sideways facing. Just some brush strokes to make them look like petals. Just work with the shape of the flower from different angles. I'm showing some little stamens there. It's like we're looking at a flower from the side, and between two petals we are able to see a little bit of stamens. Let me just touch up all the other stamens. Just running a little wet brush to give that petal a delicate kind of delicateness. Yeah, let me place a flower over here. Yeah, I just did the center of it. This one is also a flower that is facing towards us. However, it's kind of tucked in. So these two petals we see a little kind of in a different angle than the other petals. I'm just arranging these flowers as I go. Let me drop in a little bit of crimson into the petals and see how it looks. I think it looks nice. Let me fit in one more flower here. Kind of again seeing this flower from the side. Now let's create some greens around the flowers. I've just taken out a little sap green onto my palette. However, I will be mixing it with a little bit of crimson to make it little dull than how bright it is. I'm just going to add a little crimson to it. Yeah. So now let's place a few leaves around here. I'm just using the shape of the brush to carve out leaves, and I'm kind of tucking the leaves around this floral arrangement to see where it looks good. You can see the strokes. They're not the kind of strokes like stamping a leaf on. Like each and every leaf doesn't need to look exactly the same. They are in different directions. There may be a little bit of a twist or a turn on the leaves. So all the leaves don't have to look exactly the same. It is more like adding a variety to how those leaves are peeking out from behind the flower. I just created a little darker green by adding blue, and then I'm giving a little stroke of that darker green to the stem areas. Let me place another leaf bunch over here. This time I'm using a slightly lighter mix. I just washed my brush while I was talking and used a little leftover paint on my brush. So these leaves are looking kind of slightly behind, far back maybe. A little dots and dashes here and there. So this just makes the leaves that we've just now done little bit of denser. Let's just enhance all the flowers. Watercolor is it just becomes slightly less vibrant. I would say the color becomes lighter as it dries. So as a second layer, I'm just adding a little bit of color here and there to enhance the flower. We don't have to cover the entire flower. The watercolor effect is very beautiful, the way it's come out. And by adding a little bit of color as a second layer, the whole look of the flower is enhanced. Painting in watercolors is such a joyful process. I I get mesmerized every time I paint in watercolors. By the time it dries, it it looks like a very different kind of blending. The way it blends and the way we see the lights and darks, it has a mind of its own. Now we've started enhancing the leaves. By this time the leaves had dried, and we can just add a little bit of green here and there on the leaves. Now in the end, we are just enhancing the centers, the flower centers. I'm using a kind of a dark brown. It already has, all these blue and pink colors, a little dark brown to darken the center. And adding some more dots to show stamens. So thank you friends, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and until next video, stay high on art.